Hi everybody! My name's Bridget with two T's and an E at the end, and I'm not from Guilty Dear. But you might be asking yourself today, Bridget, where did you get your name from? Why is it not from Guilty Dear? What other Bridget could you have possibly gotten this from? And in today's video, I want to answer that question in the second part of the video. But in the first part, more importantly address how should you pick a new name if you're a newly transitioned person, or even if you've been transitioning for ages and you want to pick a new name or you've never felt right deciding on one up until this point, I just want to go over my personal guidelines on how I feel like you should pick a name, just to be a little more careful, I guess. Because although I believe you should pick whatever name you prefer most, I do understand also that society is going to judge you, and there's a lot of factors that you should take into account when deciding a name. So that's basically what I want to go over today. And without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you in the video. So the first factor I want to go over is even just getting to the whole part of finding a name that you kind of like at least, and then kind of trying it out. You could get names from a million different places. You know, if you have a good relationship with your family, maybe you could ask a parent to name you or something, or give you suggestions for what they would want to name you. Because, we all do start with names that our parents give us, or something along those lines at least. So if that's not super your thing, or you want to come up with a name of your own, there's a lot of different things that you can get one from. Something like TV, media, like gaming. Everybody thinks my name is from the Guilty Dear character Bridget for a reason. It could also just be a derivative of your old name, if that's something that you like. I'm pretty open about my dead name. It is Joshua, so if I wanted to, I could have done Julia for a derivative version of that. But, if you feel a bit of attachment to that old name, that kind of stays with the whole, your family gave you this name and you don't want to change it too drastically, you could do derivative. There's a lot of things that you can try out and just get an idea for what sounds right to you. Then once you find a couple names that you kind of feel, decent to, or at least impartial if you're having a really difficult time deciding a name, then I would go over a couple of these factors before you start socially transitioning and really trying to use this name around other people. And this is not going to be a comprehensive list, and it's not a required list either, but just a few things that I would keep in mind before really thinking super hard about names is going to be these. The first is going to be, is it culturally appropriate or age appropriate? You are absolutely allowed to call yourself whatever you would like to be called, and you deserve to be addressed as that, regardless of anything. But I'm not going to act like the greater whole of society, or even a lot of friends and family and stuff would not judge you harshly depending on certain names that you give yourself. I don't want to call out any specific instances of names, but if you call yourself a very, let's say, Japanese name or something, and you are a person as white as me in America that only speaks English and has basically only American heritage and stuff, it's probably not going to go well for work and other people. It's very culturally inappropriate and could even be seen as offensive at times. So definitely think a little bit about that if that's potentially an issue for you. Regarding the age-appropriate stuff, I don't think age really locks a name that hard, necessarily. But I do more so want to say age-appropriate as, are you going to age gracefully with this name? I do know a lot of people that pick certain names that sound really nice as a kid or whatever, but then they kind of get older, or this is even really exclusive to trans people. I kind of see it a lot with new parents, for example, giving their kids names that sound kind of cute at birth, but then they kind of get older and it just doesn't feel as right to them. I don't know if anyone's knowing the examples I'm talking about, but I have seen a lot of cases of people giving their children certain names and it just turning out not to be, a good thing growing up. It might get them bullied, or people don't take them as seriously, and that's kind of more what I'm aiming to get at with this sort of thing. So that's just something to think about more so. And on that note of more unique kind of names and unique ways to spell it and stuff, this is kind of the next point I want to get into, as I know that I spell my name a little more different than people usually do. Usually people just do the ET at the end and that's it. I know I have the two T's and E at the end, it's my whole thing. It just sounds more full to me, and it doesn't really get me that many looks because Bridget is not, is not a super popular name where I am already. But certain spellings of names that you don't really ever see could definitely draw attention to you when you don't really want to draw it. Especially if you're a person like me and passing is like a goal of yours or something that you want to maintain. Having a name that's spelled really, really unconventionally from other ones could definitely draw some attention that you might not want to get. I wouldn't say this is as serious as the other things I was talking about were, because, I mean, a lot of parents and stuff do name their kids just more uniquely, and that's something you can get away with a lot more easily. But I do just want to warn about it, as it is something that can draw more attention to you, and you might not be wanting that attention. And then the final point I want to bring up about the whole, guidelines for naming is just that more popular names are statistically more popular with people. As a species, we love familiarity. We absolutely love that shit. If you're not in our tribe, we don't like you, that whole sort of thing. And it is a proven fact that, like, if your name is like Jake or Jacob, like, like some of the most common male names, for example, or, to all the haters of like Lily, Emily, what else is there? Lily, Emily, Maddie, all those like really, really popular transfem names that also kind of happen to be popular cisfem names. Cisfem? That's probably a weird way to say it. Anyways, what my point is trying to say is that if you have a popular name like that, you are more likely to be hired in job interviews. People are going to probably, generally speaking, like you a little bit faster than if you had a less common name, just because we like familiarity. And obviously, you might be thinking to yourself, like, what? I think people with unique names are cool. That absolutely could be true. But this is more just on a general scale rather than, thinking about like specifics. Ironically, I kind of picked my name because I did not want people to have any type of negative perception of a Bridget, because, everyone has negative perceptions of certain names or positive perceptions of certain names for good or bad experiences that people have. I picked mine because I hardly know any Bridgets, and I'm like, yeah, I'll be the first Bridget someone knows. But I guess I kind of sabotaged myself. But it's really not big enough to be that much of a thing you need to worry about if you did not name yourself according to it. It's just something that is more in support of all those like lilies out there, for example, who do have really common names, for example. It's not a bad thing to have a more common name, and it very well could help you. So that's just the thing I want to get across more with that. Now, I know that I threw a lot of information at you guys real quick, and it's kind of like, oh my god, like, what am I doing here? Don't worry, the rest of the video is a lot more simple, and it's going to go into establishing a name for yourself. And for that, I would really just recommend trying to finish your social transition as much as you can. Whether it's only safe for you to come up to people online, for example, like on video games or Discord, or you do have the luxury of being able to come out to like family, workplace, whatever, and you don't really need to worry that much about discrimination. Whatever means you can do it by, I recommend trying out your names as soon as you can, just so you can kind of work through them all and see what feels right for you. And you can do that through a lot of various ways. Like if you play video games, you can try to make that your username, and if people are in a team game, for example, and they want to refer to you, they're going to use that name. And that'll just be a good way to try it out and see how it feels to be referred to. More easily if you have like friends or family is nearby you and they're supportive, you could try to have them refer to you as your new name and just see if it feels right to you, or maybe, oh, like I want to try out this name instead, or this one doesn't feel good, whatever. Or you could also do like a name badge at work if that's something that's viable for you. Whatever you choose, I would just give it a few days or however long it takes to really decide like if you really, really like it or really don't like it. Sometimes it's more subtle or more aggressive of a reaction of like or dislike. But in the end, you'll come to a consensus like, okay, I think I like how this sounds. And from there, you can kind of decide like, do I like this name or do I want to slightly vary it? Eventually, you'll usually settle upon like one or two or, maybe even 3 names that you really like. And the awesome thing about having names is that you get 2 of them. You have your middle name and you have your first name. So you could always just pick like 1 or 2 names that you really, really like to have. And the third one, you know, maybe you don't like that as much. You just kind of push it more to the side or use it as like an online alias, whatever you feel like doing. And when you're just in that kind of deciding thing, you can just kind of ask like family, partners, like, what do you think fits me? Or how do I feel about this, most importantly? And go back on trying these names, like, you know, maybe like a few days I'll try this, a few days I'll try this. And just kind of come to terms and just feel out what's going to be right for you. And with that, you basically have your name. It sounds super complicated of a process and stuff, but it really is just a lot of trial and error to see what feels right for you to be called. And even if you decide on a name and you end up disliking it later on, you can always change it. I think people, especially in the trans community, are going to understand wanting to change something like that, even if it's a well-established thing many years into your transition. You're not obligated to keep a name that you don't like. I have plenty of friends who, you know, really far into their transition have decided, like, you know, I don't actually want to be called this anymore, or I did this because of family and I don't really want to do that anymore. I want to be more independent, for example. So it's not like you're locked in for life. But with that, that's going to be the first part of the video on how to pick your name. And the second part is just going to be the bonus part on how I got my name. So appreciate you guys all for watching, but if you don't want to see all that stuff, feel more than free to click off the video. If you enjoyed it, a like or subscribe is appreciated. A comment is super, super awesome, but of course, not required. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see everyone else into the second part. Bye! Hi everybody, Bridget here with 2 T's and an E at the end. I just felt like doing the intro again. I really like doing my intro. I am going to tell you how I got my name and where it comes from. And I'm going to try not to make this long. This is going to be a sub 20-minute video. Please, please pray with me. Well, I guess you actually already know the runtime of it, but we'll see. Anyway, going for my name goes way, way, way back actually. Because over all the years, even way before I knew I was trans, I had like a million names I really wanted to have. I kind of mentioned upon this on my 1K subscriber special about my whole trans history and stuff. I had a million names I wanted as a kid. I had like Chloe, Maxine, Samantha. First two are from Life is Strange. Shh. There's just a million of them. Like Luna, I remember before that was even really popular. I wanted everything, but I still believed I was a cis guy. Because, I mean, why would you expect anything else looking at this? But anyway, I wasn't necessarily super transphobic back then, but I also wasn't really good with trans stuff either. I was around, I think it was like 14 when I found this person, and I stumbled across the Gmod YouTuber Miss Breezy, and I was like, wow, this person's awesome. But at the time their account name was like their old previous name or whatever, so I did not know they were trans yet. But I was watching their videos like, not exactly in chronological order, but I was watching just a lot of them kind of in that order. And they are a male to female individual, such as myself. And I was like, holy shit, like, I really like this person's channel. Like, she was my favorite content creator for a really long time, and would probably still be up there if she still produced content actively. Her shenanigans with her and her friends just fucking around in Gmod and doing stupid shit it helped me a lot through a lot of really hard times in my life. And it's just stupid thinking about like how these like really silly little videos did so much for me. But anyway, I always really loved the name Bridget, and I was watching these videos in chronological order, and over time I noticed that her voice and, you know, like model and stuff was becoming more feminine, and I was like, that's a little strange. But I kind of wrote it off as nothing because I was like, okay, like this would be like a really big leap to make. I'm not going to do that. But I kind of just kept on watching her content, and over time it became more apparent that she was trans and was not a guy, and she was kind of just transitioning slowly, and everybody kind of just pretended not to care or you know, just be supportive of it without like saying so outright, which kind of just worked with her channel, I guess. But eventually the announcement video came where she made some like joke video about how she was like transitioning to like a B or something like that. It was really funny. And I was like, oh shit, like this person is trans, like what the hell? And I remember just seeing like future like vlogs and stuff that she had posted of like her and her then boyfriend, like Zyricon. I think that's how you say his name. And she just looked so happy. And it was like, wow, like, this is crazy. Like, I knew what this person looked like before they transitioned. And I kind of just watched their videos over time and stuff and kind of saw them change. And I was like, wow, like, she looks super good. And she's just so happy. Like, her voice sounds good. I didn't know that you could do that. I thought you could get like a vocal surgery that would not do a lot, and that was kind of it. But she kind of showed me that like trans people can do so much with themselves. Like HRT seriously is some magical black magic shit. Like that's so insane how much of it can change about ourselves, and the fact that you can do voice training and have a voice that sounds, you know, I'd even go as far to say like mine. I like my voice nowadays. And you're not just stuck with the voice that you were born with. I thought that was so crazy. And it really flipped my perception. And I just kind of thought like, this person is so awesome. And like, I love this person's content and stuff so much. And they've done so much for my life. Like, why should I not be trans supportive? Like, again, I wasn't necessarily transphobic, but I wasn't super supportive either. Like, I believed in some stupid stuff, like having a separate bathroom or whatever. I was just ignorant. And the more I thought about it, I was like, wow, like this is really stupid, all of these thoughts I have. And this is a super cool thing that this person's doing. I still love the content this person produces. I think they're a really cool person. And that kind of just did a lot for me. She went by Bree after transitioning, just Bree. And I always loved the name Bridget. That was just one of the names floating around in my head way before the guilty year. Shh. And as I was kind of coming to terms with my transness, like around like 19-ish years old, I kind of thought about it and I was like, like what name should I give myself? And I really heavily was fighting over like Meredith, Ruby, and Bridget for my 3 name contenders. I just thought they were all super pretty and had the energy I kind of wanted to give off. But Meredith felt like a little too grounded in plant life and like a little too like, you know, just like calm and sweet. And I have a very excitable personality. If these videos don't show it, trust me, it's even worse in VC. When I get excited about like Battlefield or something, I can be really loud and crazy. So I felt like that name didn't really fit that well. And Ruby, for the same reasons, sounded so sweet and so cute. But it was also kind of just like, man, this sounds like too nice for me. Like, I'm like a little fucking gremlin sometimes, you know? Like, it doesn't feel wholly right. So I was kind of looking back at Bridget, and I was thinking between Bridget and Ruby. And eventually I was like thinking, I was like, wait, if I name myself Bridget, I could also commemorate Bree, because Bree is basically a nickname of Bridget, right? And it's like this person who changed my life in so many massive ways and is probably the reason I am trans sooner than I could have been. You know, like without her, I probably could have gone down a pretty bad path and not realized for a very long time, which, you know, that would shape the YouTube channel, that would shape all my friend groups, that would shape university, just everything. I thought like, I want to honor this person in some way. So I already loved the name Bridget a lot, but I decided to name myself Bridget partially because of that commemoration too, just because it felt the most right out of those 3 names, and it feels nice to be able to say that I can commemorate this person who did so much for my life, even if it's just in a really small nickname that, you know, like only like half the people call me and the other half call me Bridget. That's like basically half the length of the video. I could have gone even for 3 times that length, but don't threaten me with a good time. My watch retention would be crying on the floor if I did that, so I will not. But that's kind of how I'm here, basically. Always loved name Bridget, and I just thought, like, yeah, this would be worth it. So here we are. I kind of don't know what else to say in this video, but shout out to Miss Breezy. She's awesome. I guess I don't know what else to say, but I dyed my hair, and I changed the style drastically. I don't know how I feel about it, but we'll see in coming videos. And that is basically everything I have to say. I'll have a link to the Nets Euphoria submissions video in the description and in the comments if I remember to. So go check that out, please. And I will see you guys soon. The next video after the Euphoria submissions one is probably going to be about how I made a bingo card for my friend Zinnia, who was so obviously trans, but was in denial. And I got so tired of waiting that I just made a secret bingo card that I was playing, and then I revealed it to her once she did come out. So it's a pretty funny story time that I want to talk about. But yeah, until then, I will see you guys soon. I hope you have a lovely day, or night, or afternoon, whatever time zone it is. And bye! Everybody, Bridget here. I cannot believe I almost forgot about our lovely channel members. And I'm totally not adding this in like post-processing and editing and stuff. I mean, what? How could I forget? Anyway, really quick, before I end the video, I want to give a shout out to our lovely channel members. First, we have our Angel tier members, Sauroy, Cinnaboo, which is my girlfriend, she's awesome, and Esme, DH97. And then for my Archangel member, we have another one of my, well, this is just a friend, but Xanth Mardon, you're awesome. I love you. I don't know what that was about, but I love you. Thank you. And we have the loveliest of all, Jaden Perez 26, for being a Seraphim tier member. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel. You guys make up 45% of my revenue so far, and I really appreciate it. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you liked the video, feel free to like it. If you didn't like the video, feel free to dislike it. Comments always make me super happy, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye!